are cars, there are iconic cars, and then there is the Jeep Wrangler. And Jeep thought it's right about time this car gets the much needed facelift and gets all the equipment that is very much relevant to 2024. Starting off, speaking about the design, Jeep has gone that extra mile to retain the original Jeep DNA, especially in the Wrangler form, but they have also ensured that there are subtle new touches that are there, like the revised 7-slat Jeep grille that you see. But what's very interesting is there is a proper off-road camera with washer, which is going to be super duper helpful when you take this car to get the utmost potential out of it. And then of course you have the LED headlamps and LED fog lamps. You have this iconic way to open the front hood of this. You have this Rubicon badging here because the other variant is unlimited. This is the Rubicon variant, which gets 17-inch mud terrain alloys. Again, the unlimited gets 18-inch alloys. And then the windshield is of course foldable, which retains the legacy of the Jeep. In fact, even the roof can be completely opened, the doors can be dismantled. You can do whatever you want to actually complete the thirst for adventure in this Jeep Wrangler Rubicon. And then couple of other interesting bits. You have the very elongated front bumper, which is little larger than what I feel it should have been. And talking of other bits, it has an insane capability of 864 millimeters of water wading depth, which makes it very iconic. Just like phones which have Gorilla Glass for extra protection, this entire windshield is Corning Gorilla Glass, so that it is free from scratches, chips and whatnot. In fact, it is so strong that it can sustain some minor cracks too. You have this antenna which is integrated here, because pehle kya hota tha, when you open the roof you have to take the antenna and keep it separately. It's too much jhanjat, but everything is solved with this integrated antenna, which is super duper cool. I absolutely love these tube doors here in this Wrangler, but however practicality takes a backseat here, and it's going to be slightly challenging when you actually want to drive this in cities like Bangalore, Bombay. But there is a solution for that. You can actually interchange the doors, the real doors, with them, and it takes less than 20 minutes if you actually know how to do it properly. So the rear design is as iconic as it can get, with this nice typical Wrangler LED tail lamps here. But again, the fantastic part here is just look at the mounting of the rear stop lamp, and in case even that is not enough, just look at this placement of this rear camera here. This is probably the first time I've seen where a rear camera is actually placed inside this spare wheel. However, the biggest shortcoming here is you'll have to be very careful when you are actually taking reverse in this particular Wrangler, because of the close proximity that you will have with the rear obstacle to this rear camera here. The fuel tank capacity is whooping 90 liters, which is one of the highest on any car on sale in India right now. And the best part is, probably this is the only car will have the specifications, the dimensions of the car integrated on the boot itself. And one ironic thing here is, when you have 864 millimeters of water wading in the Wrangler, first thing that comes to your mind is, what about the electric seats which are going to be underwater? I mean, they're not going to malfunction because they are actually protected in a very solid closed case. This is how access the boot of the car, and first thing that you instantly realize is there is actually a cargo space to store whatever you want. But the super duper cool party trick here is there is the tray here, and the attention to detail is such that this is actually in the shape of a Jeep headlight. You can have whatever you want here, drinks, snacks, whatever, and there is a small Jeep logo right here. You have a simple nice instrument cluster tach on the left, temperature gauge, fuel gauge and speedometer there. You have the heated steering wheel and heated front seats as well. 12.3-inch infotainment system that gives a lot of information like Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, everything else that you get in other cars. But apart from that, you also get off-road data. Like you can see the steering angle, if the sway bar is connected or not. You can also see if the diff locks are enabled or not. Not just that, you can also see the various temperatures of the coolant, oil pressure, transmission temperature, everything. And then there is a front camera which can be enabled, and this can also be cleaned here directly. And then you have tons and tons of physical buttons for everything, and this is a great move, because when you're taking the car off-road, especially in water, these physical buttons are going to be a lot more handy than touchscreens. And then you have the power window switches in the center, because there's of course no door in this particular car. In fact, even in other Wranglers you'll see that the switches are here, because the doors can be removed there. And then you have tons and tons of options for your aux cables, and this is the 8-speed transmission. The gear shifts are actually good, and the car is fantastic to drive, which we're going to talk about later. This is of course the manual handbrake, couple of cup holders here, storage space right here in the center, and the seats feel pretty comfortable. The Wrangler has 6 airbags, but there are no doors in this car, so where are the side and curtain airbags fitted? They actually fitted inside this particular roll cage here. And the Wrangler also has 85 plus safety features. This is how you access the second row of the Wrangler. Quite dirty because we did all kinds of off-road and came here. The under support is little inadequate. I really feel that the underside support would have been better, especially for tall people. Other than that, the legroom is pretty decent, headroom is actually pretty good and nice. The rear people are not going to complain about the tropical and summer climates because you also get rear AC vents. Full armrest, even the headrest comes inside so that you can store bottles here. So this is an 8-speed automatic transmission, and trust me on this, the shifts are actually pretty nice. There are only a couple of instances where you feel that there is a bit of jitteriness in the gearbox, but most of the times it's fantastic. This is actually being driven by an electric power steering, making driving quite easier at lower speeds, and when the car is being driven fast, it picks up speed. But unfortunately, I feel that cars like Meridian have a slightly better tuned steering compared to the Wrangler. And then the driving position is absolutely commanding. You can see everything bang on left to right from the bonnet. The brake pedals feel slightly spongy, not much of a deal breaker as such, but considering the weight of the car, considering the capabilities it has, and of course the top speed of 174 km/h, I really wish the brakes could be slightly better in terms of the bite that they offer. Since this car doesn't practically get doors or the roof, once you hit 60 to 70 kmph mark, you'll see that the roof has started to flutter left, right and center. You will easily hear the roof noise, at least from 80 km/h for sure. Another point which I kind of like a lot is, although all the 4 doors were locked, the tube doors, one of the doors kept on kind of rattling a lot. But there is also manual mode in the gearbox, just in case you want to have some fun on the go. Right now, sorted into the manual mode, I have downshifted to first gear. The car does not upshift until now unless you want to, making the driving experience a lot better.
With an approach angle of 41.8 degrees, the Wrangler can literally tackle any obstacle thrown on its way. To crawl through anything, it gets a much deeper 4:1 crawl ratio and electronically locking front and rear differentials. Also exclusive to the Rubicon variant is the ability to electronically disconnect the anti-roll bar or sway bar with the press of a button for even more axle articulation or bigger obstacles. Locking both front and rear diff locks and selecting low range was all that was needed to have fun in Wrangler in toughest of the off-road conditions. The ride quality is typical Jeep trait. It's as good as you can think of, and it can tackle worst of the worst off-road conditions with great ease. In fact, even smaller bumps and speed breakers will go completely unnoticed. However, the moment you get ambitious with the curves, you'll be reminded that you're definitely not driving a car that you want to drive on smooth, twisty highways with the incessant body roll, and of course there is a good amount of wind noise that is going to come from this soft top variant.
The Jeep Wrangler gets most of the boxes right. It gets the styling right, the practicality, and of course it is very strong in terms of the pedigree and the DNA associated in the off-road communities. But just like other cars, there are a couple of shortcomings, like for example the quality of materials inside the car could be slightly better than what it is currently in this price bracket. And that said, if you decide to go with this particular customized the tube door variant, you'll have to compromise slightly on the practicality of it. And that's the reason we have both the cars here to showcase. Let us know in the comment section which one among these you would pick, just in case you decide to go with the Wrangler, or you would trade off from this and go directly to the Wrangler Unlimited, which is focused slightly more towards the on-road behavior. That's about it. Signing off. Take care. Drive safe.